You have arrived at Strategic Planning Process SWOT Analysis Webinar 1.3. Welcome. We're so happy that you're able to participate in this strategic planning process with us. This webinar is going to provide you with an overview of the SWOT analysis process. By the end of this webinar, you will understand the two parts of the SWOT analysis as well as how to perform your SWOT analysis. I know you're busy. Let's get started. Providing you with our contact information again, we'll show you this at the beginning of every slideshow. And a little housekeeping. Thank you to everyone who has sent in the registration survey, and if you haven't yet completed it, please do so by April 2nd. You'll find all the materials you need for this project at www.sanctuaryfederation.org/Jakarta2018, along with a link to our private Facebook group and a list of all the other participant organizations. As I explained in the last slideshow, this chart shows us the pieces of the webinar series as well as where we are in the process. Congratulations, this is the last part of the first series. The documents you need for webinar 1.3 are listed here. There's a SWOT analysis conversation information and instruction sheet, there's a SWOT analysis conversation guide, and a SWOT analysis survey information and instruction sheet. If you haven't already printed these documents or opened them up on the screen so you can follow along while I review them, please pause this presentation and get your documents ready. Okay, now that you've got your documents, let's review each of them so you understand the resources we're sharing with you. Before we go over the documents, actually, I want to just acknowledge what SWOT stands for. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And a SWOT analysis has two parts, the SWOT analysis conversation and the SWOT analysis survey. So if you turn to your SWOT analysis conversation, information, and instruction sheet, we're going to go through that. So what is a SWOT analysis? A SWOT analysis is a tool, and it allows you to take a holistic look at your organization. The SWOT analysis is often a part of the preparedness work of strategic planning and is done to inform leadership groups as they prepare to develop strategic goals and measurable objectives for a strategic plan. A SWOT analysis is most useful when it is based on the primary objectives of your organization. As part of this process, we will help you identify your primary objectives. Once you do that, you can then examine the internal and external factors that impact your ability to achieve your mission. So the Strategic Planning Committee has a very specific and important role to play in the SWOT analysis. The Strategic Planning Committee is the group that should perform both parts of the SWOT analysis. Ideally, the entire Strategic Planning Committee will participate in the SWOT analysis conversation, either on the phone, in person, or video conferencing, and then afterwards, each meeting participant will complete the SWOT analysis survey separately. The link to the SWOT analysis survey will be sent to you on April 2nd via email, along with a Word document with the survey questions so you can translate it if you face any language barriers. Once your Strategic Planning Committee and anyone else who participates completes the surveys, we will send you a packet of your responses back so that the Strategic Planning Committee can review it together. So why do a SWOT analysis? There are many benefits to doing a SWOT analysis as part of the strategic planning process. The main purpose of a SWOT analysis is to help organizational leaders think about the internal and external factors that most impact the organization's success. When you slow down and think collaboratively with your team, you can better understand your context and create a plan that will allow you to reach your goals. Doing this work isn't always easy. Taking a critical look at your organizational operations can be difficult and may seem overwhelming. Our goal is to make it as easy as possible. We will walk you through each piece of this process so you can succeed at improving your organization's health and well-being. So how do you get it done? First, you're going to set up a dedicated meeting. You're going to think about the attendees that you want to invite. We suggest that you invite all Strategic Planning Committee members, key staff, and your board. At the very least, the two people who will be joining us in Jakarta and at least one other person should have the SWOT analysis conversation together. So then you'll schedule a meeting, and you'll have that over phone, video conference, in person, whatever works for you. And you'll provide all meeting attendees with a SWOT analysis instruction sheet and request that they watch this webinar series and read all the information so that everybody understands the process and the goals. We also are going to help you define your objectives. And we suggest you begin by identifying these primary objectives so you can organize your thinking for the exercise. You can do this with your board, or you can do it with your strategic planning committee. We trust you will know which group should support this piece. Once you're clear about your main objectives, you're ready to begin your SWOT analysis conversation. As you're having your SWOT analysis conversation, begin by reviewing the entire process. Make sure everyone has an understanding of what you're gathered to accomplish, what your goals are for the meeting, and how you'll know you're successful. Use the questions in the SWOT analysis conversation guide to help you create your agenda for the meeting ahead of time. Discuss the internal and external factors that impact your organization, and once you have that conversation, decide when you want to have your SWOT analysis surveys completed. The survey will take about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. We are going to review the SWOT analysis survey information and instruction sheet next, so you'll know what that process is. One quick note, we suggest that you take notes and track what you're thinking when you're in the SWOT analysis conversation so that when you get to the survey, you have your thoughts in front of you and can summarize them more easily. So the SWOT analysis survey. Why are we completing a survey? This survey will help you and everyone in the Strategic Planning Committee understand where to best focus your next conversations. This survey is a series of questions asking you about what seems most notable about the SWOT analysis conversation and what your perspective is on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's important that everyone contribute to this part of the process because the survey responses will be useful when you create your strategic goals and objectives. We want to make a suggestion about how to approach this survey. This SWOT analysis is one of the areas where your perspective can make a big difference. Everybody's perspective is important in this conversation. The SWOT analysis is designed to gather thoughts about what seems most important to remember about the SWOT analysis conversation so you can review it as a group later. As you're preparing to complete the SWOT analysis survey, there's a few things you can do to get ready. First, schedule it when you have enough time. You cannot enter or exit the survey more than once. So please plan on sitting for at least 20 minutes so you can thoughtfully complete the survey. We suggest that you bring your notes with you from the SWOT analysis conversation, that you have both information and instruction sheets with you, and the SWOT conversation guide so you have the list of internal and external factors, as well as the questions you discussed in your meeting. We are going to send you a link on April 2nd via email to this survey. When you have time, you can sit down with all your notes and respond. Once everybody does that, we will create a report with your individual responses and a summary, and we will send it to your strategic planning committee chair so that person can share it with the rest of the group. This information will be useful to you as you begin to draft your strategic goals. So we have a few suggested immediate next steps. First, work with your strategic planning committee to figure out who to include in the SWOT analysis conversation. Then schedule a date to have the conversation. After that, we suggest that everybody coming to the meeting review all the documents related to the SWOT analysis, make sure everybody receives them and has watched the webinar series, then have your meeting and schedule your dates to complete the survey. So you are done watching the first webinar series. The next webinar will be released May 2nd, so you have about 2 months to complete your mission and vision statement review and your SWOT analysis. Please let us know when you have questions. We want you to succeed. We really do. Thank you very much.